you see that she was with her over 50 years. That must have hurt. That was a deep relationship. And the only other place in Genesis where we will focus here is in chapter 49, in verse 31, where Rebekah's burial is mentioned. But we read nothing of her death. Her burial is just mentioned. It's referred to after the fact. In summary, Rebekah is a female counterpart of Abraham. She's portrayed in Genesis as a woman of faith, willing to step out, to start again, to leave her land and her family, and to do what's right. She's really like Abraham. If Abraham were a woman, that's who he'd be. He'd be Rebekah. If Rebekah were a man, Abraham, that's who she'd be. But this does not mean that she was perfect. She was a woman of faith, but not perfect. She manipulated her husband, who by all counts was less assertive and intelligent than she was. She tries to take charge and manipulate her children. In the Old Testament Character podcast, we'll be looking at least a dozen different women altogether. And I hope you've learned something looking at Rebekah. But what we're really supposed to learn about, I think, is not so much her, but God himself. And here are a couple things I think we can learn about God. And in the notes you'll find further materials for bringing this to life for children, and also just some key verses, index verses to know what we learn about God. Well, while we shouldn't give up the hustle, the industry, the responsibility, make it happen kind of spirit, we do need to trust the Lord. When we hold on to things too tightly, we're likely to lose them. Reminds us of the Lord's words in the New Testament: if you try to save your life, you'll lose it. But if you're willing to lose your life, then you'll keep it, you'll find it, you'll save it. And so we see Rebekah held on a little bit too tightly. It's not that she didn't believe, but it was mixed in with a bit of humanistic control, manipulation. And so we need to show all the assertiveness and the industry and the vitality that Rebekah embodies. But we need to have enough faith that we don't hold on to things too tightly, which can lead to losing them. Also, she grew up in somewhat of a manipulative environment. When you really study her father, Father Bethuel is not a very dominant character. Her brother Laban, who's very materialistic. Just go back and read between the lines. She grew up in that kind of family, but she wasn't that kind of person. When we meet her, she's giving, she's vibrant, beautiful, warm. As we age, we can give in to fear. We can take out more and more insurance policies, so to speak. And it seems that Rebekah reverts to her upbringing. Remember, Sarah didn't give way to fear, 1 Peter 3, but Rebekah did. She gave in to fear. It seems that the older she got, the more controlling she got. I think that's a real danger for us as we age. Maybe we're not that way in our teens. Probably Rebekah was in her teens, or perhaps she was 20 when she first met Isaac. Things start to change in the 30s and 40s, and we can change in time. And it doesn't mean that we're not Christians, but we tend to revert to the kind of the mode in which we were brought up. All these things we've observed and learned, and we can revert to our upbringing, so to speak.